Hello everyone and welcome back to the Dealer Chat podcast. Happy New Year. It is our first Dealer Chat podcast of the year and we've got an amazing guest. So today we have got Dave of the Lovely Car Company, James of Chops Garage, myself, Joe of Barrow Motors, and our special guest is Matt Goodwin of High Peak Autos. Needs no introduction really. A star of YouTube and all sorts, as well as obviously running High Peak Autos in, is it Romley?
Romley, yeah.
Romley. Very well known. We've been trying to get you on for a little while. You did come on previously, obviously, a long time ago on the podcast, and we had a little chat one-to-one, but...
That was a while ago, wasn't it, now?
Yeah, it must have been a couple of years ago, I think. So thank you for coming back on. I'm sure everyone who subscribes to any of us lot probably subscribes to you, or at least knows who you are. We normally ask people to give themselves an introduction, but you don't really need to. But how would you describe yourself now? Because you're obviously still a car dealer. You've got a car dealing business, but you do lots of media stuff as well. What would you, if you had to describe, I suppose, entrepreneur, would it be?
I hate that, to be honest. I don't know. I always struggle with this because I don't know. I guess car dealer, really. Still, yeah. That's the main part of my business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really interested to talk to you about it because obviously, yeah, I mean, you obviously got it. You've got like a partner or someone that helps you with the garage, and I thought probably YouTube must be going so well that you kind of just keep taking the garage along. But looking at it, you've got quite a lot of stock in at the moment. And
yeah, I'm constantly trying to grow it. Really. Yeah, I mentioned this in a Q&A video that I did yesterday. For years now, I've always kind of milked that business to try and prop up other stuff and not really reinvested it into it. And now I'm realizing that I should pump some money back into that and try and grow it. I was just always paranoid about it. It's so it can be so I don't know, volatile or precarious that I just wanted to make sure that I was okay if it all went,
yeah,
upside down.
There's always a chance, I guess. But yeah, I think you'll be all right. If anyone's going to be all right, I'm sure it'll be you. But
so yeah, I'm just trying to give it a push now to try and grow it.
So in terms of growing, sorry, I'm not letting the other ones get a word in here, but in terms of growing, what's the plan? Because you're limited, I guess, to the amount of space you've got. But I know you pinch, beg, and borrow bits and pieces elsewhere.
Basically, yeah. I don't really want to leave my site because it's in a really good location, and I've been there for years now. So I don't really want to leave. What I should do is look for a bigger place somewhere else. But I don't know. I'm a bit comfortable there, really.
I mean, I feel that with where I am. I love the land, lady, and it's a really nice location. We're on the road. We've got everything. But in an ideal world, I'd have somewhere twice the size.
Exactly.
But do I want to leave here to go and get that? And I don't. Try and do the best you can with
exactly
the size you've got, I suppose.
Mm.
But yeah, it's interesting because I'm sure at one point when I looked at your website, you sort of had, I don't know, say 20 or 30 cars in, and I thought that had just stuck in my head. That he's like, that's probably how many you can fit on that site. And I must have looked recently, and you had at least 60.
Yeah, I try. We can fit comfortably about 36, 38. I say comfortably. We can squeeze 36, 38 onto the site. But I try and stock about 50 now.
Yeah.
So there's always a dozen parked elsewhere.
Well, I guess you've sort of taken over, from watching some of your videos, you've taken over your mechanics kind of yard.
Yeah, kind of. That's my plan really going forward, to try and get a piece of land somewhere or a storage compound somewhere, so that I could stock another 20 cars and just advertise them on the website, but just keep them off site. As soon as we get a phone call, somebody can go and grab it and bring it back.
Yeah.
Someone else has a plan like that, don't they?
Do you know what? I have already tried that with my. If you get a bit of land, I'm sure Matt can find somewhere closer than like 10 minutes away, which doesn't sound like a lot, but still, if someone. We used to keep trying. I was trying to do some commercial vehicles, and I would keep them at my farm, and it was just, someone would be like, "Can I come and view that in 20 minutes?" You'd be like, "Yeah, no worries. Just give us a minute." You go and get it. It'd be covered in mud, or it'd be filthy by the time you brought it back. The battery being flat because someone's looked at it for a month, and you're like just sweating trying to get this car back for someone, and then of course the battery is flat, so it's got a load of warning lights on.
Yeah.
Like, and then what I find is then I go and stick all the cars that are knackered at the storage place, and then it's out of sight, out of mind. So
it's just a graveyard then, isn't it?
Yeah, it turns into a graveyard.
But you started out a bit like me, Matt, didn't you? You had like a porter cabin on a bit of muddy land, didn't you?
Yeah,
I think
that's it.
at the beginning.
That's it, yeah. About 9 years ago now.
Yeah, I remember seeing a video on that, and you were buying like the cheap end stuff, weren't you?
Yeah,
with
that's
the
it.
courses and yeah.
And did you do the YouTube straight away?
No, I wish I did. I wish I did. It took me about 4 years to before I started the YouTube. So I've been doing that for about 5 years now.
I remember in our last conversation, I'd already been thinking, oh, this is, YouTube seems to be quite a good thing, and I've always wanted to do it, and I've done it for other things, but only on a small scale. And I spoke to you about it and said, did you expect it to go as well? And you basically, or I can't remember what it said, but basically you said you wish you'd invested in it and got like an editor earlier and whatever. And I'm like, say no more.
Exactly.
Two here now, a bit
Yeah.
like you really, which
Again, that's another thing. It's another example of me not really reinvesting back into the business. So even with the YouTube business, I haven't really reinvested back into that. Well, I have now, but it took me 3 years really to make sure that it was okay before I pumped some money into it. And really, I should have done that much sooner.
Someone asked me the other day about my channel and growing my channel, and I think it's my resistance to being too tight to pay for anybody to start editing videos. I'm still doing it all on a CapCut on my phone, and it's like, I don't, if I had someone following me around, I could produce, 3 times as much content and have it looking a lot better. But yeah, that's probably just me resisting the extra costs involved in that, because I know it is an investment, isn't it, to start paying people
That's right.
specifically to follow you around and edit this stuff.
I know as well with my YouTube business. For the first 2 or 3 years, all the money that it earned was mine. Now all of a sudden, I've got quite big overheads because I've got an office and people there and everything else. So before you know it, it's just another business with more pressure and overheads.
Well, that's exactly, you've hit the nail on the head. That's exactly. I look at my YouTube money; it's like it has no overhead costs to it at all. Not even any editing software, and I'm like, that's all just straight in my back pocket. So yeah, it's really hard to think of, because I know exactly what to do to probably grow it faster, but I'm just too tight. I like the money.
It's the same with cars, though, isn't it? The bigger you go, the more overhead you have, and then you always look back and think, "Oh God, when I first started with 5 or 6 cars, I had no overheads. It was so much better then." But you need to reinvest that money.
I don't know about you guys, but when I first started, I didn't even have the bottle to sign up for Auto Trader. I didn't do it. I just stuck.
I still haven't that.
Oh really?
I still haven't. I don't pay Auto Trader, no.
I always talk about when we get, because we do like a mentors podcast, get people on who are starting out or not doing that well or whatever, as if we've really qualified to give them advice. We're not, but it's an opportunity to have a chat. The lengths that people will go to avoid paying a £700 Auto Trader bill. So they'll do 300 quid on whatever, and they'll do like handwritten notes. This is an exaggeration, I'm being facetious, but they do handwritten love letters and they'll post them around the whole neighbourhood, and they'll spend 3 days doing stuff to avoid spending 700 quid. It's like, just get Auto Trader.
Yeah, I know.
Just get it. You'll thank yourself once you kind of, same with employing your first employee, isn't it? Terrifying.
This is the thing, and the annoying thing is, like I did business studies and stuff at college. If I were to look at my situation from the outside, I would have said ages ago, oh right, yeah, pump some money back into it, get some more staff, get an office, all that sorts of stuff. But when it's your own little thing, I'm always kind of a little bit reluctant to.
Yeah, you're like, oh no, we can get by. We don't
Yeah,
really need to.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's comfort zones as well, isn't it? It's like, I'm a bit older than you guys, so like we've said repeatedly on the channel, I don't have all these big desires of getting 10 times as many cars outside and taking on a load of staff. I live in North Devon. I'm quite happy with just ticking along.
Yeah.
But the thing with me with Auto Trader is a lot of what I sell is sub 5k, and I can put that on Facebook Marketplace for free, and it will sell really quickly. So it's not like my problem is I'm not shifting stock fast enough, and I need more sales. So it's spending £700 a month, although it's not a lot of money, it's £700 I can have, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, your problem is you haven't got anyone to clean your cars or anything. You're there like
He's sitting right here. He does it.
And
He does it. I don't even pay for that. Well, I have dropped one down to a valeter this morning. I'm doing a bit more of that. I outsource a little bit, but I won't take anybody on. It's all outsourced, so none of them are employees.
You do everything yourself.
Pretty much, yeah. I do outsource, so I do have like if I haven't got the time, I'll have someone do some. I'll paint a bumper corner myself. I'll paint a set of wheels myself. But if I haven't got time, I will outsource it. I'll valet a lot of stuff myself. But again, if there's no pressure on it getting done right now, I've just dropped a car with sign writing down to a valeter now, and I just said, look, spend it down, get the sign writing off, machine polish it, valet it, everything, pick it up. But yeah, I mean, yesterday I did a quick valet on the car before someone came to pick it up. Yeah, I have like we laugh about it all the time, don't we, guys? Like they talk about what their Auto Trader bills are, and it's like my total overhead for the entire month. But yeah, I mean, even this now we're talking now is run like off a SIM card internet connection. So that's like £30 a month. I'm not even paying for internet.
That must be really liberating, though. That.
Well, it is to a certain extent because, like these guys, like over Christmas, you see people with lots of staff, and you think, well, how long a break have they got? And then when they come in, are they just kicking their heels in between New Year's and Christmas? Are they actually doing anything? And if you're out for the day, are they doing anything? I can take my SMS phone with me and like go and film with it, break it, go film for like 2 days with these guys, and just take the calls while I'm out there. And I know I've got no overheads, nothing's going out the door while I'm out the unit. I mean, yes, there might be someone who turned up here unexpectedly, but I normally do things by appointment. So there is a certain, but at the same time, I can't grow past a certain point. So there is a limitation there. So I've got to say, like, you know, I'm happy with this level of income. You know, I can grow a bit, but not much more.
That's what I missed at Christmas, your situation. So normally when it gets, you know, Mad Friday, when I used to be the same size as you, James, I could shut up shop, go home and chill out for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I did Factory Friday. We do Factory Friday down here because all the factories are out. So yeah, Friday you just shut up and
That's it, and then that you can chill out. But with all the overheads and stuff, I was like, oh God, maybe we should open up Monday. Maybe we should open up Tuesday.
yeah.
After Boxing Day, I'm going to put my phone on because you're just not constantly worrying, but you've got that like appetite where you need to earn money.
It's fear of missing that deal, though, isn't it? That's what it is.
I still do have that. I did come in between, but I can't turn down money. I absolutely love making money. If you gave me something for £1, I make £2 out of it. I'm happy as Larry. So I do like making money. So don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't like making money. Like there were leads that came in between. I did nip in and do them and do a deal. I won't turn down the opportunity. But in the same way, like if my wife said to me this afternoon, should we go for lunch? I'm like, yeah, fine. Shut the doors. We'll go for lunch. You don't have to worry about it. Do you know what I mean? So, but again, like I say, the flip side of that is I'm never going to have a multi-million pound business, am I?
And so there's two things there. One is like James is so laid back that when we went to Bedford to go and film at an auction on Monday, and he's like, you know what? I didn't even bring my work phone with me. If anyone phones for 2 days, they won't. He's like, oh well. He just didn't care. But secondly, when we were talking, you were saying that in a dream world, you'd be working on your like the way you relax, and it was working on your classic cars and stuff, which you don't ever get a chance to do. So hiring someone to help you with your money-making business might allow you to then have more.
Yeah, but I stress. I don't know how you guys do it. So like, if I have someone in, like I got Pete in today, if I can hear that they're not getting on with something, like I went out the other day. Where was I going to pick up a car? And I came back and he'd been stood around for 2 hours because he didn't know where the filler plug was on a VW up gearbox. I'm like, it's 2 hours that you just need to go on your phone and Google it for God's sake. And it stresses me right out. Like you're going to have a mechanic, Dave. I don't know how you're going to cope with having a mechanic full time. That would do my head in. Because the way I see it, if you drop a car off to a mechanic and the job ends up taking twice as long, a lot of the time they don't bill you for it anyway. But if you're there, stood over it, you've got your unit and you know you're paying out all this money and it's not getting done, and he's going, well, I need this extra part and this is broken off, and he's just sitting twiddling his thumbs. I would literally, that would be the most stressful thing I could ever have.
But my mindset's completely changed since having a mechanic. Before, you just go and drop off the car and you'd forget about it. Where now I'm dropping it off and I'm like, oh, well, how long's he going to be working on this for? And then will he be able to do another job? And then you're thinking, oh, God, I need to find another job for him. And it's definitely a lot more stress, but it's made my life a lot more easier at the same time.
Oh, has it? Well, that's all right then. That's all right.
All the warranty stuff that's coming after Christmas, you know, it's like after Christmas, everyone's ringing you. This is wrong, that's wrong.
Yeah.
We've got it all in this week, and it's all been sorted. So that's like, it's worth its weight in gold.
Matt, you don't have your own mechanics, do you? You outsource, don't you?
Yeah, I do. It's something that I always think about, though. So, yeah, if I had a bigger site with a couple of ramps or something, then I definitely would. But as you just said, then that comes with its own set of problems, doesn't it?
I think the problem is it's the amount of tools you've got to buy as well, though, isn't it? Like you get a pure tech kit, you want to do a cam belt. Oh, you've got to get the cam belt kit for that. Oh, the cam belt tools for that one. Then you've got to get tools for this one. Oh, now I need a press to press a suspension arm out. Oh, now I need this tool to heat a bolt out to get it out. It's just endless, isn't it? You'll invest 120 grand before you've even started recouping the savings. He knows that. He's laughing because he knows that. He's just done it.
Carried away, James.
Yeah, I've put in about 9 grand if I'm being honest. Which I don't think is a lot of money. It's not a lot of money for a garage.
We were just talking about this off camera before you came on, Matt, because Dave was saying his mechanic wants a diagnostics machine. And I said, I've got this topped on 900 Pro. I'll send you out free, mate. You can have that. And he said, no, the mechanic wants this specific one. I said, that's the same as asking me if I want a company car. I'm going to say I want an Alfa Romeo Giulietta QV, please. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not his money. It's not his money. So of course he's going to want the all singing, all dancing machine.
You didn't say it was for free though. Send it out, mate.
Yeah, it's for free. I wouldn't charge you, mate. If it was Joe, of course. But for you, mate, free.
My guys have got like a $2,500 machine, and they still pester me for a newer, better one because of there'll be one like minute little job that was slightly trickier on like a Range Rover or something. If they'd had this other machine, that would have been some. I had to wait 10 minutes earlier for him to finish the dongle so I could use it. It's like, oh well, let me spend $5,000 then.
Yeah, but you buy that top machine and then you still have a car like maybe it's got TPMS sensors and you have to have a remote one for it to code it rather than it can't just be like on the computer and it's like just endless. That's another reason.
It's changing all the time, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
and that's the thing. Going back to classics, Joe, you just need a bloody great hammer and an adjustable spanner and you can fix anything on them.
I know, but nobody wants to buy the classics. The hang around. We've got a little.
Mate, I've got a showroom that says opposite of that. I want to buy them. Nobody else does. I want to buy them.
In our showroom, we've had it 3 years.
Matt likes them as well. You're a fan of a classic, aren't you, Matt?
I do. I don't really have any, and I've never stocked any. But yeah, I do. I like the idea of it. But no, I don't think there's a business there. Not for me, anyway.
No,
It'd be too slow paced.
No, we spoke to a lady, didn't we? We spoke to, was it Sam from Southern Cars?
Oh, yeah.
She runs a business doing classics.
Yeah, she's nice, Sam.
I think you've got to be happy selling 8 or 9 cars max a month, but you've got to make sure you've stolen them. You've got like 5-6K across them, haven't you?
Yeah.
And then you can only buy the ones that have already been restored. There's no business in buying rough ones and doing them up. Well, as we know from Matt's videos.
No, there's no business there.
My model is I buy rough ones and then think I'll get the work done myself because I can do the work myself, and then they just sit there looking rough. And I just accumulate more and more and more.
Matt, what do you like selling? What's like your favourite cars to sell?
A lot of the stuff I sell is just ordinary, run of the mill stuff, to be honest, which I quite like. Most of the stuff I stock is under 10 grand, sort of 5 to 10 grand stuff.
Hold up a minute. Let me just put this on screen because I love that doesn't check out.
Tell me when you do this, Joe.
Are you doing auctions these days, Matt, or is the channel giving you that much exposure? You're just buying off subscribers?
I've never done auctions. I did a video recently at. Okay, there are a few exceptions.
Did we just see that port? Oh, no, it's not convertible. That's a nice 911. I keep thinking I'll treat myself to 911.
No, the first page then. The first page of the exception, but the rest of it.
We can go from lowest price first if you like, Matt.
That's better.
See, we've got some cheap stuff.
So you'll sell 1,000. Oh, I see. You sell it's a £1,000 car sold with no warranty.
Part X to clear stuff, to be honest. That's the little Chevrolet Spark.
Chevy Spark. We both love a Chevy Spark, don't we?
Yeah, that's our old courtesy car.
I love those things. What's wrong with that one? I might have to buy that one off you, mate. That's too cheap. I'll get $2,995 at least for that down
The bodywork's not great. It was our courtesy cars.
That's why being handy with the rattle can helps, Matt.
Well, yeah.
But how do you find you get on with selling your part exchanges like this, Matt? Like, from the garage still, but as a solder's scene, spares, repairs type thing.
I think it's all about how it's sold, really. I've never had much trouble with that because I'm quite blunt with both my adverts and with the customer when they're there on that end of the that end of the stuff. You've got to manage expectations, haven't you?
That's not a lot of work, that corner.
Yes.
On the car.
Yeah.
You got to sell there, Matt. Anyway, so that's that one sold.
Yeah,
for you.
I would, Matt. I would send a transporter and take all that stuff off you. I'd fill a yard full of that. I love a Chevy Spark. They just don't go wrong.
Yeah.
See that Crossfire, they fly out them. I remember having a couple.
Do they?
Back in the day.
I would have thought they would sit forever.
That's sold actually already. That one.
Oh, is it? I mind you, it's that sub 5K mark, though, isn't it, Matt? Anything that 3995 has to be the most perfect price point ever known to mankind. You put something at 3995.
Exactly.
If it ends sold in a week, there's something seriously wrong with
what
you've done.
Smart like that and nice mileage.
Yeah, that's probably my favourite price point, to be honest. Anything under 5K, it can still buy you something half decent, can't it?
You get really, really good value.
Whatever's happening with the economy, it's just like the market's always there for it, isn't it? I mean, that Kia Sorento down my way, That would absolutely fly.
I've said this loads of times, but this market is recession proof. Basically, it's just
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
there day in
definitely.
day out.
I saw that from one of your. I remember that you saying that from one of your videos when you did a walk around. You were saying it was a bit quiet and you'd stuffed a load of like cheapies along the front.
Exactly. Like for
Here we
example,
are.
if you just
Here's
go
your
up a
run of the mill
second,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. That all right. That was a mistake. That was for a video, really.
Yeah, you can tell it's sunny in the background, so we've had it a while.
This is the giveaway, isn't it? You can see the leaves in the trees.
Yeah,
Kia Sportage. I sell a lot of Kias, to be honest. So Kia Sportages, Kia Rios, Kia Ceeds. That's my bread and butter, really.
yeah,
I love Kias. Sportage is just such a good seller, isn't it?
Yeah, especially that era. They look great value now. They're cheap enough to buy, cheap enough to repair, and people still like them.
What's the first thing you do, Matt? Do you go in and see where the clutch is biting on the diesels?
Yes, and then lubricate the
Every
sunroof because they
time.
always stick.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Have you? You've done the fix on that. You know how to fix that, do you, on the sunroof?
Yeah, it's every
Yeah,
single
yeah.
one though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but yeah, I was at an auction with these guys, and a nice Kia was coming across the block, and as soon as the guy pulled up, they were wiping it down, and when the driver went to pull away, I saw him kind of go like that. So as it went round, I went stopped my head and said, "Clutch biting." And I went, "Yeah, it's biting." It's like, yeah, straight away, you know it. Every
Yeah,
time,
right at the
every
bottom.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. They're all the same, aren't they? See, James, you be in your element here, James, with all this stock. I can just see you with like 30.
Mate, I could send a transporter up and just empty Matt out completely. Well, not now. We're getting into 16 grand, but everything sub 5, that
Well,
would all just.
those last two pages there, the more expensive stuff. I like to have stuff like that there because I'm into cars and I like nice things. But if I had to rely on that, there wouldn't be a business. I'd be out of business.
Yeah, that's how I feel at the minute, because that's all the stuff I've got, and it's just not flying out
No,
at
you
all.
kind of hand pick certain things and you think that's exactly what I want to sell that, and then it'll sit there for 3 months. You think, what's the
Yeah,
point?
Exactly. Everyone told me, they said, Jay, they said, Chops, because the people that watch my videos that see me rattle can stuff and do all this work on them and get quite big, they say, get newer stuff, get lower mileage, fill it up full of it. I tried it out and it's just so slow in comparison to sub 5k. Sub 5k, if it's here after a week or two, I'm like, what's gone wrong there? But this other stuff, you're saying to me, Dave, oh, you got to leave it like 2 months or so. I'm like, 2 months?
Yeah.
Not a chance.
No, no,
Not a chance.
no.
That's why all these guys, I drive to them that with like 15 plate and 13 plate low mileage and bring back for like 2 grand beaters because it's the worst business model in the world. But
Yeah,
I love it. I
but
love doing
you know
cheapies.
your market, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
it's
No,
being
no.
addicted to the deal, though, isn't it? Like, it's
yeah,
getting the deal. It's not the cars, it's
no,
getting the deals. And like, it would give me more of a buzz selling 40 cars in a month than having
yeah,
like 40, 20 grand cars on the forecourt and
exactly.
selling 10.
If it wasn't for like warranty problems and issues you might have with cheaper cars, I would sell like 5 grand cars that I've doubled my money on day in day out because you can do that, can't you? You know, you spend 2 grand on a car, you can sell it for 4.
You can be more brutal as well. Like if I'm paying you 27 grand for a Range Rover, you can't say, look, this car is an old used car. Things might go wrong with it. I can only give you this amount of warranty. Let's be realistic about it. After that, it wasn't a fault at point of sale.
Yeah,
You can't say that selling someone 27. You can at 5. You can at 3. And a lot of people will go, yeah, fair enough. You know, there's a percentage of screamers. People go, oh, I couldn't deal with the kind of type of customers you get. Well, apart from having a guy turn up the other day that was spending £1,500 a month leasing his Range Rover and wanted to buy a 3 grand Rio for his daughter and wanted immaculate. You don't get that very often. Normally they've got limited budget. They just want a car that looks like it's polished up, looks nice. It's got a fresh MOT on it, and they don't have huge expectations. So I actually like dealing with those people as well.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we've just sold before Christmas an Audi A1, no, S1 it was, S1. And the woman who bought it for her daughter, they took it to Audi for a health check.
Oh God, I hate
A
that.
free health check.
that was good of him. Yeah,
Free for who? Not for you.
Exactly. So anyhow, the heating wasn't working properly, so the thermostat needs replacing, or probably the what's it? Oh God, the water bottle thing. What does it call that? The
Header tank type thing.
something like that.
Tank
Anyhow,
tank.
and we said, "Oh, look, we're going to replace it." Blah, blah. Like, don't let Audi do it. I was like, "We've got our own mechanic now. Bring it back here." So we've sorted it, and then we rang her up yesterday, and she went, "Well, you do know I am going to take it back to Audi to get it checked over." And
But where in your deal did you agree to restore this Audi for her? This is what I've started saying to people. You're not there to.
Without sounding arsey, why don't you just go to Audi in the first place and buy it from them? Do you know what I mean? You
I
Do you
can't.
know,
know why
yeah,
not, Matt?
yeah.
Because she can't afford to. She wants to buy it from him and have him foot the bill for not being able to buy
Yeah,
it from Audi.
wants the Audi experience without the Audi price tag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
Do you know
exactly.
what's funny is I always think back and I need to do one now. I can't remember who said it is they've implemented one. Oh, James Baggett from Car Dealer Magazine has copied Jamie Capel. He's got a sheet that they get the customer to sign when they're there buying a car. And he calls it the "Don't Be a Dickhead" list. So it's like if you take your car to a main dealer, we don't approve paying for that. We won't pay for it, and you're going to be disappointed in the car that you've just bought. Doesn't matter what car it is or whatever. And he's got this list of things that he makes them sign, like don't do all this stupid stuff. Basically, I don't even know what it includes, but that's what you need, isn't it? Because
You don't know what happens with them once they leave your forecourt, do you? That's the
This
problem.
is the point, isn't it? Yeah.
Dave does with one of his. Tell him about your one, Dave.
Which one's that? I can't remember. There's that many.
Oh, the guy
BMW.
doing donuts in the BMW.
Oh, God, yeah. So this lad, he bought a BMW i35, is it? And about 2 days later, he messaged us. He's like, "Oh, the car's missing. It's just not running right." And we were like, "All right, okay. Well, no, just get it in your local garage," because he was miles away as well. Get in your local garage, check it over. And Ali, our salesman, he got on right well with this lad. So the lad added Ali to his Instagram. Anyhow, before he was just about to take it at the garage, it popped up on Instagram that this kid's doing donuts in a car park. Flipping like, I'll have to send you the video. It's like going around this car park flying. Well, no wonder your car's bloody missing. No wonder your car's knackered. So, but it was brilliant because we didn't have to fix it.
Your point is exactly right, Matt. I've said this before. So we sell a vehicle and they're saying up to 6 months you're responsible for potentially faults. But we don't know exactly that. We don't know what they do with the car. It's almost like we should be able to, that in modern cars, they can plug them in and say, well, you changed into third gear at 70 mile an hour. You over revved it or whatever. We need like a dash cam in the car for 6 months to say after 6 months, we'll remove the dash cam. After we know that it didn't have a bad suspension arm, you drove up a curb and hit it at like 30 mile an hour or whatever. Or, I mean, sometimes people leave this yard driving the car, and I think that clutch is going to last less than a month. You've just literally slipped it all the way up there. It is mad, and like I say, we have absolutely no idea what they do with these vehicles after they leave our premises, and they could be putting 10,000 miles
I
in.
sold a 911 a few years ago. Like I think it was an '09 911, 997, and it'd done about 100,000 miles, but it was a nice example. And a couple of weeks later, the guy called me to chase the spare key. I called him because the spare key arrived. The previous owner sent the spare key, so I popped in the post. So I called him. And he's like, "Oh," so I said, "How's it going?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "My mate's got a rump." He said, it gets a bit light on the front end or the back end or something when it gets to sort of 120." I said, "Why? Where have you been in it?" He said, "Oh, my mate's got access to a runway, so I've been taking it on there." I'm thinking, well, the first time you get an engine light on, don't be calling me because that isn't.
Yeah.
You just admitted that to me.
Isn't it true if you buy a McLaren and you take it on track, it immediately invalidates the warranty?
Yeah.
So you buy like a McLaren. Yeah, you buy a McLaren supercar, they track it, and if you put it on track, it invalidates the warranty.
Yeah,
Do you know what? I've had loads of them, and this is why now. I used to stock hot hatches because I quite like them. I just think they're good value. They're fun, but the problems and the customers you get, people offer them to me now, and I just shudder.
I don't stock them. I try not to.
No, like not only like so there's the people who will buy them and they like will spin off trying to show off to you, and it's like please don't, and that's how they're going to drive and they're going to ruin the
This
car.
is another argument for the sort of stock that I sell. Like no one's buying a Kia Rio and doing that with it. Do you know what I mean? It's a fairly safe bet. You sell it to somebody who just wants transport, and everyone's happy.
We skipped a bit earlier actually because I asked you if you were getting, if you didn't have to use auctions
Oh
anymore, but
yeah.
you said you never did. So where do you buy stuff from then?
So traders basically. A few through YouTube now, which is nice. Maybe 5 a month, maybe through YouTube, but the rest is just predominantly traders.
So how do you get in the doors with that? Because that's quite a hard thing to do, isn't it?
It
I
is
think we've said
nowadays.
before.
It is nowadays.
Yeah.
I am very fortunate. So yeah, I've only been to an auction once. I went to that G3 auction that you guys have been to. It terrifies me, to be honest, going to auctions. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't like that to be my sole source of stock. definitely
What
not.
did you think of the margins at auction?
So surprising, actually. Some were poor and some were all right. So I don't know. You'd have to be very careful. I haven't got the restraints.
You've got to like a bit of risk to want to go to auction because you can the risky stuff you can absolutely nick, and if you get lucky, you do really well. But if you don't, it's a bloody
Well,
headache, and it
this is the
just
thing.
depresses you.
All the stuff that I would like to fill my forecourt with went for
Fortune.
fortunes. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
just
Yeah,
no
yeah, that's
margin
what I
there.
find.
No margin at
I was
all.
trying to bid on a Sportage. We all were having a go on a Sportage, and it went within like 700 quid of what I think the retail was before fees. I'm
What's the
like, how's
point of
that going
that?
in? But yeah, all that sort of small stuff, definitely.
Yeah.
I've got to go pick up 2 buttes from you today, Joe. Actually, I'm going to come and get those away today, out your way.
Yeah, they're kind of
The
loitering
penicillin
around, aren't
car and the vaping mocha.
they? I'll tell you what, Matt. I'll show you the.
Don't! I've got to sell this car, guys. You're not helping me at all. I literally did the worst thing, Matt. I did the typical thing. I did research on what I was going to bid on, all the right stock, and didn't get any of it. So then I just bid on what I like the look of as it went across the
That's what
block.
happens though. Every time you go to the auction, whatever you go for, you never end up
No,
buying.
no, no.
Ever.
66 plate Tipo for 1,400 quid. How could I say no? If I'd opened the back door and had a look inside, there was no way
Did
I should have
it?
said no.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh, I
He
thought
needed like a tetanus shot and
Yeah,
whatever after
yeah.
that.
I drove that 4 hours back.
Did
I drove that 4 hours back because I'm too tight to
oh,
pay for
brilliant.
transport. I drove it 4 hours back, literally my head out the window. I've got a cold anyway. I'm like,
He had a 1.4 Mocha, which I don't know how well you're able to see, but it used more coolant than it did
Oh
fuel.
yeah.
no, no, no.
Did
That's just heating up. That's just warming up, mate. It was cold outside. It's just warming up.
Yeah, it was warming up the planet, mate. Nothing else.
But that,
Bloody
that
Vauxhalls.
that's
Hate the
the
damn
only way
things.
to win at the auction.
It is a minefield, though.
By taking the risky stuff. You know, that's how I made my money the last 3 years, was buying the stuff that hadn't made its money and taking a risk. And if you work out, if you get like out of 10 you buy, if 2 are knackered, you're still up, aren't you? Because you've had 8 good buys. You know.
That's why consumers can't go to auctions because I put stuff on TikTok and they're going, dealer only, that's because you want to steal the cars. Dealer only, that's because you want to rip us off. No, it's dealer only because if you go and buy one car and it's a vaping mocha, you're like, first of all, you're trying to get your money back, which isn't the deal. And then secondly, that's all of your cash, so you're now screwed. Whereas if we buy 10, like you say, I can eat that one, I can eat the other one.
Exactly.
But that's why you can't go. G3 tried, didn't they? Just got mucked around so much, they pulled the plug on it. Because people think that's the source of getting cheap cars, don't they? Dealers go to auctions, they buy these cars cheap, they come back, they throw
They
a
think
bucket
it's
of water
that
over
easy,
them.
though, don't they? That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Throw a bucket of water over, sell it to me with the faults on it anyway, because you're not going to come back and ask me to fix it, are you? And then make a ton of money on it. It's funny. It's the worst place to actually probably
Without
buy
sounding
cars.
bitter, I quite like to hear those stories because it isn't that easy, is it?
No, no, it's not. No, it's
Honestly,
not.
Matt, the best thing about this podcast is we're all in the same boat. We all go
Yeah,
through the same trials and tribulations.
exactly.
And no matter what price point you're at, if you're selling like Sheik, who's got a flipping car supermarket, or James, who's just on his own, we're all going through the same stuff.
Matt likes to consider these terrible stories as he polishes his SLS
Yeah.
and his Range Rover. Do you find that because of the channel now, when you do sell cars and someone has a problem with it, do they try and get through to you and like kick right off and try and sort of blackmail you a bit on the fact that you've got some online presence?
It's happened. That's happened a couple of times actually. Yeah, but no, it's not a common issue. That no, it's not. People are more understanding actually because I do try and prepare cars properly, and if there's an issue, then I try and resolve it. And people, I do find that people are more understanding these days. I guess it's because they know me through YouTube and they know that I'm going to sort it. They don't straight away. They don't take the approach of I'm taking you to court like it used to be. Do you know what I mean? It's okay. They're a bit more understanding. We'll lend you a courtesy car. We'll get it fixed.
We had someone
Yeah.
in the summer, he bought a Golf TDI something, and he started watching our channel and that, and it needed an engine in it. And he come back to us and he said, oh, I've seen all your videos, and like I totally trust you to put an engine in this car and fix it. Where if you didn't have the YouTube channel, you probably wouldn't have that weight, would you?
No, that's right.
You've done a few engines, haven't you, Dave? It's funny, I've never, touch wood, had to do an engine on any of my sub 5k stuff. I think they probably got to the point where if that had to have been done, it's been done already.
Or you just scrap it. Because it only cost you a
Exactly.
fiver anyway, didn't it, James?
Just a big bag of sawdust, and
My mate got offered yesterday a Galaxy. He took a Galaxy in Part X for 700 quid, automatic. I don't know, 50.
Power shift.
Exactly.
oh
All the
god,
stuff
yeah,
you
That'll be
don't
good.
want.
Yeah.
Like everything you don't want. It's a Galaxy, it's a diesel, it's a power shift, but it's 700 quid. And I was like, well, you're going to trade it on, aren't you? He said, course I'm not. He went, if I sell it for 2.5 grand, 2,995, even if the gearbox goes, if the engine goes, I'll just give him the money back and then I'll scrap
yeah.
it and get 300 quid. So really, I've only lost 400 quid. So what do I do?
And
Risk 400 quid loss
Yeah.
or a 2 grand gain?
It's just a roll of the
no.
dice, isn't it? That.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just got to be sensible. You got to say, look, I'm giving you 3 months on the engine and gearbox. That's it. You know,
Yeah.
that's it. Just and then a sensible person, like I say, hopefully won't bother you after that
Yeah.
point.
This is the thing that I always think this. No one's out to rip anyone off, but you just got to be realistic, haven't you? If you're spending that sort of money, you have to know what you're buying.
Yeah, yeah. Someone there was a Fiesta yesterday, and I went down to the garage, and they're doing a engine mount on it, and the customer said, "Oh, I've got a bit of water ingress in the boot," and I. They can you sort that as well? You know, like when you drop a car to the garage and you've agreed with the customer what the repairs can be, and then they turn up and give them like
They
five
give
other
it.
things that
Yes. Yeah.
they want to do at the same time. I think they just tack it all on. And I looked in the boot and it was literally like next to nothing. And I said, this car is now like, what was it, 12 years old?
And we're in
12,
winter.
13 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the winter, I said, the rubbers are 13 years old in this car. You know, I can't restore the damn thing. We can put all new rubbers around. It wasn't like a water ingress thing, you know, like it's moulding the carpets up, misting the windows up. It was just like a little bit of damp on the edge. And the mechanic's going, oh, yeah, but I wouldn't want that in my car. And it's like, but mate, he didn't buy a brand new car. He bought a used car.
And those kinds of customers will never be satisfied. Sadly, it sounds a bit. It sounds like we're being arrogant, doesn't it? But it's the truth.
It's just understanding you know, like I say, you know, I said we were saying in the car the other day, if we were selling, weren't we, Joe? If we were selling washing machines that were 10 years old and being used every single day, doing a full load of washing, you know, what would the expectation be on that? You know, in terms
I've
of
I've
you
I've,
come
I've
back.
used that analogy in a couple of videos actually, and some people agree and other people disagree. I think if thanks to the Consumer Rights Act and everything else, you shouldn't be allowed to treat used cars the same as you treat a brand new washing machine or a brand new television or something. It's a used product.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, exactly. They'll never do anything for. I always think that I always said that they'll, you know, like in other countries, they say over 10 years old, over 100,000 miles, you're on your own kind of thing, or you can buy with a warranty or without a warranty. I think that's sensible, but they'll never change it because it'll always be seen it was just for the benefit of the dealer. The one thing that would change it, I tell you what, the one thing that would change this all overnight is if they change the law about selling the car from your driveway. If they turn around and said, if you sell a car off your driveway, they've got 5 days, 7 days, whatever, to bring it back if it's well. Everyone that thinks that we're unreasonable would suddenly go, bollocks to that. Bollocks to that. I
Yeah,
don't want a
yeah,
guy
yeah.
coming back after 5 days who's spun my clutch out, driven it over curbs and done whatever.
James, you need to become an MP. I will vote for that.
Somebody commented the other day from Australia, and that's the law there apparently. So anything over 10 years or 100,000 miles, no warranty.
Steve came over from Australia, from Yaz Valley, Yaz, and saw me the other day, and he was saying he does stuff. He sells like Land Cruisers with 250,000 miles on, that kind of thing. And he said that's the law over there. Yeah, yeah. Once you're over 10 years, 100,000 miles, you're on your own. In America, you can go up to a dealership and say, I want to buy without warranty or with warranty, can't you as
Oh,
well?
okay.
I know it's a shame, really. We can't do that here to say like, because the amount of people who come in, they try and get a bargain. They're like, I don't want a warranty. I don't want a warranty. If you can,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want
until it
cheaper.
breaks.
Well, A, you can't
Yeah,
sign
Yeah,
away your
exactly
right,
that till it breaks.
and
Yeah.
B, 100% every time when I used to do it in the past before I knew any better, the person was like, I don't want a warranty. I'll never come back. Whatever. If you did that deal, they'd be back,
they live
and
with
they
you.
would be worse. They were the pickiest.
Yeah.
Knocking money off as well. Knocking money off.
I don't do that anymore. I don't do
Yeah,
it.
we don't because every time we do, they come back for something
Yeah,
else.
For something, so that's it. Like if I knock that 250 off, if it comes back and needs a 250 repair, you're going to give me the money back.
exactly. Yeah, no, I've learned my lesson with that. I don't discount anything. I got a bad review yesterday from a Transit Connect that we took in Part Exchange. It's quite a tidy little van actually. No VAT on it. I think it's for sale for 5 grand or something. Done 115, but loads of history. Cam belt was done last year. Like quite a decent starter van for somebody. Somebody came to look at it, and I never knock money off. He offered something like I think he was on at 5.5, and he offered 5,250 over the phone. So my colleague said, right, okay, well come down and have a look at it, and we'll take it from there. we didn't know this, but he plugged his little code reader thing into it, and there was a historic fault code there for relating to turbo or something. Anyway, after this, have a look on my reviews. Have a look at the horrendous review he's
You
left.
want to do it now,
It's like
or
the car,
Yeah.
the van hasn't even been prepared yet, and he's complaining about a historic fault code. The engine light wasn't on; it drives mint. There's nothing wrong with it.
You're not going to buy a car these days without a historic fault
Yeah, I
code in
know,
it.
and it's done
Sorry.
115,000 miles. I wouldn't let it. I wouldn't let it out. I wouldn't sell it if I thought there was a fault with it. But it hasn't been prepared yet.
But the thing is, as well, what I don't understand is that if you were buying that off a driveway, that would be a problem because you've got no comeback. But if you buy that off Matt and a turbo fault issue comes up in
I'll
two or
put a
three
new
months'
turbo
time,
on
you're
it.
on the hook for it
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, I know.
exactly. You
So
fix
you
it
don't.
anyhow.
Yeah,
Fix it. But like our friend James Alford says, you got to wear the 1-star reviews
I love that.
what is it? Your war chest. You got to wear them with pride. That's what I'm looking at 1-star reviews now because you can reply to them.
I haven't replied to that yet, but I shall. It needs a reply.
Yeah,
That.
you're better off leaving it till tomorrow or
His
whatever.
face dropped when I told him. So what? You mean that he didn't know? That's all that means. That he didn't know it had that code. His face didn't drop because you caught him out. His face dropped because he didn't know it had the code in it. Because guess what? Matt doesn't go and plug all these cars
No,
in
I know. I know.
personally
Why would
and
I?
code read
Yeah,
them
I
all.
know. I know. I know.
But again, it also comes down to like we're talking about historic fault, not something that was coming up, and we'll all do a PDI and we'll check everything over. If you're expecting to turn up to whatever that is, let's say it's a 5-year-old van with 50,000 miles on it, that at no point ever in its life anything has ever gone wrong with it. It's the people who expect it to never have failed an
unrealistic, isn't
MOT
it?
test. It's just like, how is that meant to have happened? You know, if you and I say to people sometimes, well, I don't anymore because I don't do sales, which is just for the best, really. But it used to be just like I'd be literally a sarcastic, like, "Good luck on your search finding that car."
Yeah,
And
exactly.
go,
I
it
know.
just
I know.
doesn't exist.
That's a great saying. That good luck in your search. Yeah.
Do you still sell cars yourself then, Matt? Was that actually you who did the viewing with the guy?
No, no, it
No,
wasn't.
okay.
No, I'm there every day, but I'm not there all day every day. So I'm in and out, picking up cars and taking cars and stuff.
Can it be a bit of a hindrance? Everyone coming to see you every day.
I
Who's
don't-
not wanting to
He
buy
doesn't
a
want.
car?
He doesn't want to say that in public,
Yeah.
so I'll say it because even for me, it can be time consuming.
It can be time consuming, yeah, but no, I don't mind it. There are worse problems to have. Yeah.
Imagine if you were the person who actually answers the phone as well, though, Matt. Imagine if I had your subscribers, and because I actually answer the phone as well.
Yeah, right.
So then someone comes on and that, bless them, they're like, I won't take too much of your time, Chops, because I know you run it on your own. 3/4 of an hour later on, I know their entire life history of buying vehicles. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can't odds it, can you? But yeah, you know, we all get a bit of that. But it is. Do you know what? It's really nice. The ones who want to come in, say hello and whatever, and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff.
No, don't get me wrong. There's loads of people that like it's just 10 minutes. They pop by for 10 minutes or they
Yeah,
ring for 10
yeah,
minutes, and
that's
that's absolutely fine. Got no problem with it. No problem with it at all. And obviously, the upside is so much, outweighs it so much, doesn't it? Did you enjoy selling cars yourself, Matt, or would you have quite happily handed that over a lot earlier on?
The actual selling of the cars, I always quite enjoyed, actually. Yeah. Meeting people and having a chat and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
So do you miss being a bit more hands on or not?
Some days. Yeah, some days I do. Like when you said right at the start of this chat, you'll paint a bumper corner and do things like that. I kind of miss being a bit more hands on because that was kind of the fun side of it, really.
Transforming a vehicle when you bought a
Yeah,
cheap car, especially a
Yeah.
van or something, and you spray up the wheels with a bit of commercial silver,
exactly.
And the
bit of tyre
valeting.
shine,
No,
polish
and
it. At the end, you're like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you've earned some money then.
yeah.
You like a valet, do you, Dave?
I do, yeah. And like me valet Wayne, he'll valet a car, cars every day. But I don't go past now and like, oh Wayne, that car looks mint, that looks beautiful. But when I first started doing it, I always remember finishing valeting a car and I'd keep
I valeted
keep
cars,
looking at
yeah.
it, and it'd just go up in value by 500 quid because I'd valeted it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I often valeted cars. I'm terrible for it. I pay someone to do it, and then I look around and go, I'd like to do this a bit more. And then I go, oh, if I just did that little bit of paint there, and if I just buff that up there, I'll just buff that core up, and then 2 hours later, I'm machine polished the whole thing. Yeah, it's not the best business model in the world.
Do you get a lot of people who get in touch to be like, you've inspired me to be a car dealer, or I've quit my job and I just think,
Yeah,
oh,
I get not like every day, but I do. Yeah, I've had my fair share of those. Usually like Instagram messages, that kind of thing.
Even though you're putting that video saying I'm massively overspent on this car, they're like, yeah, you inspired me to start a car dealership where I massively overspend
Yeah,
on
I
every
know, I
vehicle and
know,
make nothing out of
I
it.
know.
Well, that's the thing that we get people saying, like, you've inspired me, and what we were talking about was like, I don't think people understand how hard it is, and I always feel a bit like, oh God, like, I had one guy phone me up, and he's like, oh, this opportunity for a unit's come up, and I've always wanted to do this, and blah blah blah. But I've got a good job at the minute, but he doesn't really enjoy it. He worked doing something on the roads, resurfacing roads or whatever. And I was like, "How much do you make?" He's like, "I make like 60 grand a year." But I could quit and get this unit, which is going to cost me 20 grand a year, and start selling cars. And I was like,
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a great idea, really.
just I do it as a sideline if you
Side,
like
Yeah.
the
side
idea.
hustle, isn't it?
But
Yeah, sideline
I
first.
think people think that it's just hopping in and out of nice cars all day long, don't they? I think that's what people think. And the reality is it's an awful lot of hard work and sleepless nights. And yeah, the hardest thing for me always, and it hasn't really it's got easier slightly, but I take on more then. It's just cash flow. It's just a constant headache. Because cars are expensive items, aren't they? And I'm constantly borrowing money from
Putting
other
money out
places
all the
to,
time.
yeah.
Matt, you've done a. Sorry, yeah, I just want to say it while it's on my head because I forget about it. You've done a really good video before about when you said when you get stressed out, your eyelid starts flickering.
I haven't had that for a while, but
Yeah, mine does exactly the
does it?
same. And I was like, that's when you know you're stressed out, isn't it? That's when you know you've just got to like take a bit of a
Yeah.
chill
Yeah, because
for a
it
few
doesn't do you
days.
good, does it, to be so stressed all the time?
I get like pins and needles on the top of my head, and I reckon it's my hair leaving.
You can go to Turkey for that, Joe.
I know, yeah. I'm waiting for that sponsorship offer to come through. But
I actually got an email from one of those clinics a couple of years ago, actually.
did you?
Wanted to do
Yeah.
a sponsorship with me.
Forward it on, Matt. I'll
I was,
take. I'll take.
I was a bit insulted. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
mine.
no, yours is fine. Yours is fine. Mine's. I won't go too far forward, but yeah.
Well, I'm a great advert for a turkey. Not really.
Yeah, I know. I can be the before. You'll be the after.
I haven't been to Turkey, by the way.
What was I going to say? We were saying. Oh God, my memory is terrible. What I need is a bloody ADHD sponsorship. So with the car sales now, is it just you and is it Nick, the guy you work with? Is it just the two of you? Have you got other people there?
No,
Or?
there are other people there. Yeah, so there are 4 people at the garage.
Okay.
Yeah,
As I say, it would have been with 50, 60, whatever it is, cars. It would have been a hell of a thing for
yeah.
1.5 people to do.
I took on a mate of my brother's actually, who's really good. He's been with me for about 6 months now,
Yeah.
and he's that was a really good. Again, that was something that I was really reluctant to do because I thought it's just another wage. It's more money to find at the end of the week and everything else. But I've never looked back since he's been there. An awful lot of the stuff that I would do, he now does. So it's been perfect. It's been really good.
With that in mind, how was your 2024? Generally speaking, do you think? How did you find
Good.
car sales?
Yeah, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't really elaborate on that anymore, really, because it's always all right, really.
I know.
Right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. I mean, I just know that a lot of people we speak to, the last like 4 to 6 months of the year, just a big.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We have
big
certain
change.
weeks where we won't sell a car for maybe 3 or 4 days, and I start to panic. Everything dries up. You know you're into your overdraft and everything else. But then it does always come good.
Did you have a busy December? Everyone got a bit busy towards the end of December, I think,
Yeah,
didn't they? Everyone went a bit
December was
mental.
good actually. Yeah, which is surprising.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my December was decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're anything like me, does your YouTube company lend the car company an awful lot of money?
Oh, all the time. Yeah,
Yeah,
all the time.
mad, isn't it? And then you think,
Yeah, but you've
what you
got
can
to,
make
haven't
with your
you?
YouTube and whatever with no overheads, but then you're lending it to the other company to kind of keep it so cash intensive. It's crazy.
This is what I was saying. So I'm always borrowing money from various pots and stuff. It's just a constant thing.
We're all professional money movers.
This is what I've got to remind myself. Even when I get stressed now, it's nothing like the stress I had in the early days because I didn't have any other pots to borrow from. Yes,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's
So
right. And how many will you have advertised on Auto Trader then, Matt?
50.
Oh, you have 50 advertised.
Yeah.
Great.
I think I pay for something like 52, and there's always about 48, 50.
So I think me and Joe are looking to like cut ours down a little bit and put like more
I
into
thought about
Instagram.
this. Yeah, I thought about
But
those.
you know what? If you're in that 4 to 5, 6, like the majority of cars are in that under 10 grand, Auto Trader is probably the best place for
I
it,
know it
isn't it?
is. I'm just really reluctant to leave. I know it is a fortune, but it just works. I don't want to rock the boat really.
Do you use Car Guru or anybody like that?
No, no. I used to use motors, eBay Motors and stuff, but no, I got rid of that.
Yeah, I remember your video on that. I'm surprised that they didn't really perform that well for you. But then some people were like, "Yeah, we do really well out of them,"
Mm,
because probably a bit like you, they were what I used before I built up the nerve to pay for the Auto Trader. And we used to sell cars, but then we used to sell a lot cheaper cars, and they sell easier anyway.
when I first started, all my stock was sort of sub 3 grand. It was all sort of 1,500 quid stuff.
What's annoying about this? There's no it's a bit like people ask me about YouTube and stuff. I'm like, there's no easy way around it. You
No,
put the time in, but with the car sales, there's no easy way of like, oh, I found this cheat to advertise your cars for 200 quid a month instead of
no, there
four and
isn't.
a half grand with Auto Trader to get the same results. There just isn't. So either you
Economics,
follow the
isn't it?
expensive route and make it work somehow, or you don't, and then you moan that you're not selling enough. And
Yeah. The only way to make it work, and I'm convinced this is true of any business, is just work ethic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mixed with the combined.
So,
He's given us a really valuable secret to running the business, and we lost it there.
I know, yeah, you were just at the
It's just that this is how
nugget.
you
Bang
get
up the
millions
trailer.
without spending Auto Trader.
A little bit of luck. That's what I was going to say. A little bit of luck, hard work, and a little bit of luck.
That's it. And we'll be in it till we're like 60, won't we? That's
Yeah.
the bit. We're in it for the long. Warren Buffett said this thing about, he doesn't go to his son's farm every week and go, oh, how much stuff have what have you done with the crops? He works it out on he thinks of it over a 10, 30-year period, and that's what we've got to think of this. As long as we're growing steadily, we'll always do all right out of this business.
Well, that's where like the compound interest thing comes into play. When Matt was saying about like taking on a like an editor or something, as soon as I could afford to pay from that cover itself, I got someone. I wouldn't not making no money from it myself then, obviously. But then it's like, well, the quicker it grows. This is how I feel about you, James. Just saying, if you wanted to grow, the sooner you make a thing, the sooner it builds and builds and builds. Like the earlier you can start something, the better. But
I don't want it to grow. I only set a business up so I can't get fired by anybody.
yeah, that's fair enough.
Same.
That is the best part of having your own business, isn't it?
Because I was in a hardcore sales environment, running teams, and I was at 30 overseeing sort of 60-year-old guys as salespeople, and I could see the way it works in corporate and the bigger companies. You get to an age where you become basically irrelevant; they just try and boot you out. And I thought that's what triggered me. I was like, I don't want to be like
That's what
the
happened to
sales
you, was
marketing
it?
director at 60. Sorry.
So that's what happened to you then. You got to a certain age and were irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly that. And I thought, I love cars. So if I have a car business, and that's the way I see it, I could be here, even if I was here at like 70, just tinkering away with classic cars and just kept one unit on, I can make myself a little bit of income and enjoy myself. So I don't see it the same as I think we've said this so many times before, but Joe, I think you two, you see yourself with lots with 200 cars on or whatever. I would be like, fill it full of cars and just trade only.
Is that your goal then, Joe, with yours to grow to a massive site or?
No, it may well have been. If you'd asked me this when we spoke last time, like a couple of years ago, probably I'd have been. There was a place that came up that is the site where Carbase started,
Okay.
and you could get 100 cars there, and it had a petrol station on it that you would have had, and offices above, and all that sort of stuff, and it would have been brilliant. I mean, if I got the opportunity now, I'd still go, but Carbase sort of pulled some strings so that no car sales could go in there again. But now I'm very much, the more I talk to people, the more we've done this podcast, people are trying to do more and more all the time. I'm realizing that actually I'd rather be a more slimline, efficient business that makes more money from less. And the more we talk to people, like James, for example, when James tells me what his tax bill was, I'm like, what? Sorry? Like he's, making more money than I am. And a lot of us will talk and share, it's harder to keep hold of your profit margins and stuff like that the bigger you get and the more bloated it gets and the more you need to invest in different things. The smaller you are, the more potent you are. I can have, say, like 40 cars here. So the plan is let's have 40 cars of a higher value with a bit more margin in them, and let's improve our process so we can get through them quicker.
Just getting a system in place, isn't it? I think as well with our job, you've either got to be like massive, or you've got to stay, like you say, small. It's when you get in that middle bit, it gets really tough.
Can you imagine having a site load with hundreds of cars on, just trying to keep it full of stock at the right price point? I can see why they moved to a point where it's all about the finance and the add-ons, because if you're having to buy that volume of stock with 2k across it, 2.5k across it, and you're having to buy 50 cars, you just wouldn't be able to do it, would you? So you're going to have to just outbid everyone and then try and make your margin elsewhere, aren't
You'd
you?
have to hire a buyer or two, wouldn't you? And that would be their sole job. I don't think that volume of cars exists. So you'd have to work for smaller margins on the car chassis profit and try and focus more on the finance and stuff. And I've never done that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get involved with that.
No, I've literally big news, not big news really. But I'm handing back my finance license because my FCI license. I don't want it. All you stories you guys tell me about people with cars on finance hand them back
I've
after stupid
considered
periods
doing
of
that
time.
myself, to be honest. I can't really, but I have considered doing it.
It costs a load of money every year just to renew it, to do nothing with it. Now the commissions aren't there anymore because they're hammering that down. The rights are ridiculous for it. And then the straw that broke the camel's back was when the guy came in and said, "I need to do training with you next week, and I need to let you know that if someone mentions while you're doing the finance package they've just recently got divorced or they've recently lost someone, they're a vulnerable person. You need to record that as part of the process." And I thought, I'm in Devon in a bloody agricultural shed selling cheapies. I just don't need this hassle in my life.
I don't think you'll regret that. I think that was a good decision.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
Funny you should say
definitely.
that because I checked my bank this morning, as I do every morning, first thing. And Car Finance 24/7 have taken 990 quid out of my account today because I sold three cars. Well, they referred three customers to me last month at 330 quid each. Like a grand gone today.
Yeah, just cancel it. You don't need it. They tried to do that to me for some strange reason.
When they phone up and say, "Do you charge fees?" Then I take it you don't charge an admin fee,
No, we don't.
because I always used to say, "Look, we don't charge fees if you don't," and then 9 times out of 10 they'll waive that fee. But I've now introduced we're charging. I can't remember what I've decided. We're going to charge either 300 or 500 quid across the board for outside finance. Just no questions asked. So if they phone up, yeah, it's 400 quid,
Yeah.
and then they may add it on or whatever. But do you know what? We're not doing all that work.
Yeah, they're earning that much money out of the finance. Why should we suffer the cost as well?
Yeah, and it's so much harder to deal with an outside finance company than it is your own. And they expect you to jump through hoops, get a picture of the customer
Well,
with your
yeah, because
car, and
exactly, I know. And the first time there's a problem with the car, they get their legal department on the side of the customer, and you haven't got a leg to stand on. It's annoying.
yeah, they write all sorts of stuff in there. Do you know what was an eye opener for me recently? Is something the likes. Well, let's not name anyone, but certain finance brokers like this, they will sign up the customer, and they also sell a warranty to the customer. So they'll sell them a 12 or 18-month warranty, but in that first 6 months,
The dealer's still liable.
yeah, you're reliable. So just send it back to you.
It's a win-win, isn't it?
That's a great business model, isn't it?
I'd love someone who's got a crap load of money to challenge them one day in court that actually you're a business and I sold to you. So we did a business to business transaction. It wasn't a business to consumer transaction. So you can piss off with the Consumer
That
Rights
is
Act.
overruled by the contract that they make you sign. That of course you don't read, because it's like this. If you were to read it, in there it says, fuck you. Basically, it's your problem. Everything's your problem.
Yeah. So it's almost like warranties, isn't it? You might as well take the entire risk yourself, mightn't you? You might as well be the one that gets all the margin out of it.
We are now selling 12-month warranties for 500 quid or whatever, which we could do, which we used to do through, say, Handler Protect or a third party. But I'm now going to use British Automotive Alliance. They're going to administer it. So they phone them. They decide whether it's covered or not, judging by what's set up in the booklet or whatever. And I'm going to keep the money.
I moved from doing third-party warranties to I just got a logistics account because I figured I'd do with the legal thing if I ever needed it, and it cost me like £1 to print a warranty policy off, like at 1 point or whatever. And I started putting in a value against each one, like 150, 200, what I would have paid for it. And I think before I knew it, I had something like 15 grand sitting in there. It added up so quickly. I didn't realise I was spending anywhere near that amount of money. And I was doing the repairs anyway because they'd come to me and I was like, I really can't be asked to put that through warranty wise. They're not going to approve it anyway. So, I mean, fair dues. People have seen videos where they have paid out decent amounts of money on some cars, but I was doing it anyway, so I figured I'd just start doing that. And to be honest, yeah, it's like all of these things. We use other providers out of convenience, but the reality is that we can do it ourselves.
And my New Year's resolution is to not spend. That's why, like Joe, I've took on this BA as well because I don't want to use all that mental brain power of dealing with the warranty stuff all the time because it again can make your eye flicker,
Yeah,
because it stresses you out.
What are you going to do to make sure the customer rings them, not you? Though that's the only thing I see with that.
Well, they ring you and you say, "Sorry, you got to speak with
That's it. I had a chat before Christmas. He emailed me and I said, I'm really sorry, but I don't work in this department anymore. I'll just pass you on to our warranty department. And that was it. And then
Well, just
BAE
I would
dealt
say
with
to them,
it.
look, we've bought the warranty product with them, so you have to speak to them. They have to authorise it before we can even pay. It's pretty
And the thing
simple.
is, like, we're not mechanics. We just want to sell cars. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, afterwards, the warranty provider, if they're any good, are going to reject quite a lot. That the whole point is they're going to reject a lot that I would accept, even though I know that I shouldn't cover it. So something happens 6 months down the line, and they're complaining about something trivial that's maybe like a ball joint or something that's not covered, or they've like you heard them burning the clutch as they were leaving, and then a few months later they're saying, yeah, the clutch is gone. Well, the warranty company is you're paying them to be there to be like, sorry, that is a wear and tear item that's not covered, and they're taking the flak for making that decision for you, rather than me being like, sorry, Margaret, we could smell the clutch 2 days after you left. We're not covering it, sort of thing. We're all the same, aren't we? Despite the reputation we've got, we'll all be like, bring it in. We'll
yeah,
get it
yeah.
sorted.
I know exactly.
And it costs you, and at the end of the day, it's 500-600 quid out of your pocket that shouldn't come out of your pocket. It's not fair.
We need to concentrate on sales. We can't concentrate on the mechanics, the valeting, the social media, the pictures, the this, the that. We've got to just focus on the one thing that's going to make us money, and that's sales.
What do you see, Matt? Because I've had this conversation with a few people now, going forwards with the cheapies. When we started getting in these 2016, 17, 18 cars that have got like LED headlights that are £800 and radar that's £1,500 and lane assist and all that, where do you think the small cheapie markets can go? Because we're going to have to really toughen up, I think, aren't we, on what we say we're going to cover and what we're not going to cover? Because it's going to be unrealistic, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, as I said before, with the cheap stuff that I sell, if it's a part exchange or just a cheap thing that comes through the door, I'm just quite upfront with my advert. If something isn't working, just list it so that no one's under any illusion that it's working or I will fix it because it doesn't work.
Because those that like the Kias we like selling, they're getting to a point. Some of them aren't they, where the LED, the driving lights are LED and they'll fail an MOT, won't they? And they're like, I think like 800 quid
The
to
other thing with
replace.
with Kias of that era that we're discussing, reverse cameras, they always fail. They're always blurry, and they're 500 quid from Kia. So I'm not putting a £500 reverse camera on a 12-year-old Kia Sportage.
Yeah, I think the price point of these cars would have to get so high to be able to fix everything. So people are going to have to start to accept them with faults, aren't they? I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people will.
This is the problem. As long as it's nothing sort of that that makes it unsafe or whatever. If it's just one of the little optional extras that it's got that doesn't now work, I think people will have to be realistic.
Maybe that would be the adjustment to the law, wouldn't it? Over 10 years old and 100,000 miles, it needs to be mechanically safe, but other accessories may be faulty or not functioning. Would be like a little addition that would help us a lot.
I'm probably letting a cat out of the bag here, but the girls from Wink Cars, I think, are petitioning their local MP to take, which he's or she, the MP, has taken on to try and change the Consumer Rights Act for car sales. Whether it would go anywhere or not, I don't know. But my sort of input was like, yeah, great, but if it doesn't get anywhere, just a simple clarification of what is fit for purpose when it comes to a used car would solve 9 out of 10 problems. Because I always say that I feel like you could almost have like a disclosure form on cheap cars to say, right, we should make sure that for 6 months your car is going to be fit for purpose. Here's what we deem as fit for purpose. You can get in it, you can lock the doors, it's dry, it drives, the heaters work so you can stay comfortable. At least one window will open. and whatever it is, it's or what you're using it for. So picking up the kids from school, the occasional trip to the shops. Okay, cool. And you write that down and get them to sign it. Because if they're like, oh yeah, the radio now like loses signal, and changes to a different radio after 10 minutes, or the rear, third row window doesn't go down. It's still fit for purpose, isn't it? So, it's still a car you can get in, you can lock and keep safe. Whether that even has to be with the
I'd
key,
like
it
there to
doesn't
be a
matter.
change in
You
the
got it.
law, but I can't see that happening.
No, who when they go and present that, it's like who's this a benefit
Why
to?
would they
Car
want to look
dealers. Well,
after car dealers? Exactly.
yeah, they're scum of the earth. So yeah, they rip everybody off anyway. So like that's why I say that's why the change would need to be on, because how many people get ripped off on driveways with stuff that's bad and they find out it's got problems. So what you do is you present it as we want to help, you know, we want to help support people buying from driveways. We want to help, prevent them from getting ripped off and fraud. Call it fraud, because if you call it fraud, then it'll get all the attention it needs. And then, so we want to give them a little bit of a window where if they find there's an issue with it, they can bring it back. And then what would happen is people would have more of an understanding of the challenges we go through, because they tried to sell it private. They'd end up having loads of issues with people coming back over silly things. They'd then flood the market full of used
Nobody
cars
would
because
bother
they wouldn't
selling
want
them
to sell them.
themselves, would they?
They wouldn't sell them themselves. So that would bring the market price down of those cars, which would make it cheaper for you to buy it from a dealer where you do get the protection. So everyone's a winner.
Not everyone's going to agree with that, I'm sure, James. You can put you in the comments saying you're just
They
trying
won't
to.
agree with me because they sell a car off their driveway and they do it in an honest way, which, there's honest car dealers as well. But we also know there's plenty of people that get burnt, and if it is, and that's the big problem, is it? If it is the only 3 grand you've got, if it's the only 5 grand you've got, that's it. You're in real trouble, aren't you? You haven't got the money to get it fixed. That's why we have problems, isn't it? Because they max themselves out buying a car. And then when it does have a problem,
Going
three
back
months.
to the finance companies, I've had a few, or my colleagues under sort of my instruction, really. Have I've had this a few times where we'll get a call from a big finance company on a car. I don't know, 10 or 12 year old Kia Sportage or something, for example. Right, they want to. We've got a customer for your car. Good news, yeah, we've got a customer for your car. Okay, right. What's the deposit? Oh, nothing. They're borrowing the full amount. Right. Well, I'm not selling it to them then. Oh, what do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
if they haven't got any money to put forward, what happens when it breaks? Do you know what I mean? They haven't got any money at all. Then it's just going to end in tears. So let me just nip it in the bud now. I'm not going to sell it to them, and
Yeah, that's why after driving it for 3 months and the pads get to a point where they do need replacing on a disc do, they want a dealer to do it, even though it was MOT'd and they were okay at point of sale. It's just worn. I had this with someone, I say, send me your stories, and sometimes I don't give them the answer they want. Someone put I think they put something like 6,000 miles on the car and I said, I need to do disc and pads and a couple of tires. Like, yeah, and
At what point do you think you're going to start maintaining your own car?
yeah, it wasn't. I'm surprised it wasn't flagged at the MOT. It means you had a dodgy MOT. No, it doesn't. The pads and discs had to be at a certain level, and tyres had to be a certain level at MOT. They passed that, and now you've done six
That's
thousand
why
miles on
you
it.
have the warranty company, because when you pass it on to them, they explain it in a nice way, and it saves your mental energy.
That story ends up becoming a dealer sold me a dodgy car. I didn't prep it properly because he didn't put all brand new tyres on the car. I didn't
Well,
put
this is
all
the
new
thing. You
brand new
got to then
discs and
explain
pads
to
on
them.
the
You
car.
do, that used car you bought. Well, guess what? It had an awful lot of used parts on it as well. It's not all brand new tires, brakes, whatever they were. And that's the same thing when it comes to like you have to put a brand new part on my car. It's like no, we don't. But
No.
that would be like making your car better than it was when you bought it. So we're going to use a second-hand part to put it back to as good, if not still not better than it was. It is a minefield, isn't it, when you think about it? It can stress you out.
It's like a therapy session, isn't it? This every week.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well,
A little rant.
it's why I've found the best way forward really is just to increase volume. If you can sell more, then yes, you can have a few more of these problems, but there'll be more profit at the end of the day, and you can just take these issues on the chin really as and when they crop up.
It's when it's quiet, it really hurts you. But when you're flying, like Summit Sheik said the other month, he's like, 'cause he's got 300 odd cars. He's like, every month we've got to put an engine in a car, and it doesn't matter because we've got that many cars, we're selling that many cars. You don't feel it,
No,
but when you've got 10 cars, you've got to put an engine in. It's like end of the world, isn't it?
I'll get your number after this, man. If you want to join the WhatsApp group, there's some dealers in there, and I think that people like Sheik that we keep referring to really open your eye. His goal for this year is to have zero profit in cars. It will all be the add-on products, warranties, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, because it works. It works better for him, and he does. they sell their own warranties, for example. And talking about, like we were talking about warranties, he says I think he does about he gets about £60,000 a month in warranty kind of revenue. Is that something? Does that sound about right? What he said? And he's got about a 10% burn rate. So every month he's making £50,000, kind of gross profit from warranties and whatever else. It's just a completely different business model. Half of us can't get heads around it, but
Oh, it's some mental lads in there, aren't they?
Well,
Absolutely mental.
just think of the VAT you'd save.
I was just about to say his VAT bill every quarter will be small, won't it?
That's it. So us looking for big margins,
Yeah.
flipping bigger the VAT bill, isn't it? But like these flipping car supermarkets, obviously they are still going to have big VAT bills, but it's not going to be on the margin scheme. It's going to be on all the other stuff that people pay for.
then again, he's spending £45,000 a month on motorway fees. So
Oh, really?
terrifying, absolutely.
Oh,
terrifying.
the numbers these guys band about is insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
What's the true cost of all these cars that you buy to do videos, Matt? Like I fix up these cars or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're a bit like I was buying. I'm not saying you buy cars specifically for content. I'm sure you do with some, but ones that make good videos because you try and fix them up, or it's just like it's a cheap car. Oh, I can't fix it. I had my farm was littered with cars that I'm like, oh, what do I do with them now? What do I do with them now? And do you know what? It totaled up, and you're like, that's £40,000.
Yeah, I know. This is the problem, isn't it? I've got a few projects around me like that, and then before you know it, yeah, I worked it out the other day. I'd got sort of 20 odd grand sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. When I see your mechanics yard, and it's like you own it basically, and you allow them a few parking spaces. It looks like.
yeah. No, my mechanic bills are always high, but it's just part of the job. But no, I don't. I do try and find more interesting cars now for video content, but yeah, not everything I film with has been bought for that purpose.
No, I know, but yeah, I guess if you're buying a lot of stuff from a main dealer, you're taking the rough with the smooth, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to take everything
Yeah.
approach of you.
Yeah.
I've spoken to people before though, Matt, that think you make absolutely no money out of your business because they think you massively overspend on
Oh
every
yeah,
single
no.
car you
I
have in
mentioned that
stock.
I did a Q&A video yesterday actually that hasn't gone live yet, and I mentioned that it might happen half a dozen times a month, but if that were to happen with every car, I'd be out of business.
Yeah, so I'm going to go buy a car from Matt because I'm going to be buying a 10 grand car that's had 30 grand
Yeah.
spent on it. I think that's what their mindset a lot of
No,
people are.
no, it's not like that. I just try and film the more entertaining ones.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
yeah,
course, yeah.
yeah. Do you get the lecturing like I do? Which like this is what you need to do. You need to stop buying this. And you need to stop buying the risky
Yeah.
stuff. And it's like that's kind of like entertainment, really.
Yeah,
It's very
exactly.
small. You're seeing 20 minutes from 120-hour.
I think my favourite is you'll never get that money for that car. They're only worth this much up north, or they're only worth this much there. And then like video after video, I sell it for exactly what I
Yeah,
said I was
yeah.
going to sell it for. And then every now and then I'll go on YouTube, I'll go on Auto, and I go on then. I'll search within 50 miles of your area for the same car with
Yeah.
the same mileage from a dealer. Oh look, you can't buy it for
Yeah.
the peanuts you said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll send a transporter up then. I'll buy as many as you can get. You can double your money on every single one of them.
Everyone's an expert, aren't they? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I tend to say. Is I'll put like the Auto Trader valuation. Oh, never get that for that. Prices are crazy. You'll never sell it for that. And I'm like, sorry everyone. I'm just going to call up Auto Trader and let them know that Gary down in fucking Newark knows the car market better than they do.
Auto Trader saw 5,000 go across their books in the last few months, but Gary from Bedford knows exactly what that's worth.
Sorry guys, you got it wrong. Get it changed. Yeah.
That's what it's like.
What's on the agenda for you today, then, Matt? Are you at the garage?
I've got to go after this. I've got to go to my mate who's a sign writer and confirm or go over the final designs for the signage for the garage.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that's going to cost me yet, but I've got to go over the final designs.
How good of a friend is he?
I've known him for years, so I'm hoping he looks after me a bit.
Quite expensive, then, probably.
If you ever had the chance to act on Emmerdale, then
Would I do it now?
do it.
I
Would you do it now?
don't know if I would, to be honest. I wanted it 10 years ago when I auditioned for it, but no, I don't know if I would. I quite like being my own boss and doing my own thing, really. I don't know how I'd find suddenly having to be somewhere and being told what to do.
when you love a business in Emmerdale, there's like 5 buildings, but there seems to be about 30 businesses, and they all seem to do all right as well. I only dip in and out when my wife's watching it, but I'm like, how the hell does that work? You've got 3 cafes, 2 garages, and someone's running a prestige. Wasn't there one where they're running a prestige car leasing company
Right.
out of? You're like, yeah, I want to go and open a business up there because it doesn't mean you can't
Must
fall
be
on
a
your
lot of
ass with
footfall,
anything.
mustn't there? There, yeah,
A lot of
Yeah,
money up there. A
yeah.
lot of money in Emmerdale.
But TV must be knocking in other ways. Surely there must be something on the horizon.
Um, I do get offered a few things. Yeah, I've done a couple of like pilot TV shows and stuff, but nothing's ever happened.
Really?
They've
Okay.
never been picked up, but you never know.
I said this to Joe the other day. Perhaps you'll step in Mr. Mike Brewer's shoes
Yeah, I don't
when
know.
the time
I
comes.
don't know. I don't know. You never know. You never know. That sort of stuff excites me, to be honest. I'll occasionally get a phone call out of the blue from somebody, and yeah, I like having those kinds of conversations. But nothing as yet. Nothing's happened. So,
Materialized. Yeah.
no, no.
What when it comes to doing your videos, what do you actually enjoy like filming and doing? Because just for my experience, I'd love to do some of the like challenges or buying cars and doing something with them, Top Gearish style, without going too wanting to be Top Gear in your own way.
I prefer, to be honest. This might sound boring, but I prefer the old style reviews that I occasionally still do now. But that's how I started the channel, just doing old stuff because I'd script them all properly. I'd get all my facts. I felt like it was informative. People learned something from it, but they just didn't perform that well. And now it's
They don't watch him now.
no, my best performing videos are look at this cheap part exchange that's just arrived and look at the state of it. That people want to see that. That's not scripted. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't really like doing that because afterwards I think I don't know, I don't feel particularly satisfied because I don't feel I've given anything of any value back. Whereas when I do a proper review, I feel like I've offered something that's actually informative.
No, I can imagine that you feel like a bit of a machine punting them out, but it is a formula that works for you, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, I'm like, why have 400,000 people watched an event he bought for 700 quid? I don't quite understand it.
no, but no, I prefer filming a proper review because we can go out there with like my colleagues and get some drone shots and nice drive-by shots and make it look really professional, and it'll get 80,000 views or something. Then I'll do a video on the car park or something I haven't, I've bought blind, and it'll get 300,000 views. It doesn't make any sense.
No,
So
people like drama, though, don't they? They
yeah,
like drama.
yeah, yeah,
They want to see you burn,
yeah. That's
crush
true.
and burn is
That's
what
true.
they really want
That's
to
true.
see.
Yeah, I think there's an element of that. Yeah, people want to see me get it wrong.
Yeah, they want to sort of tell you then how wrong you've got it. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like buying a
Yeah.
Range Rover or something at auction or
Yeah.
something.
I
Yeah.
could tell from the colour of that indicator that I had a bad head gasket before you even set
Yeah,
off.
Yeah, yeah. And then usually what I get is, oh, Matt at High Peak wouldn't have made that mistake or missed that or
yeah,
something, or Lee at
Yeah.
Car UK wouldn't have missed that. Oh, bloody hell. Do you know what I had? I should tell you an anecdote before we let you go. I had a guy come in. I don't know if he ever got in touch with you. He had a really low mileage Z3 3 litre BMW, and it was obviously it was just like his pride and joy. It had about 9,000 miles on it, and he came in, and we've got TV behind us. I don't know if I told you this before, but we've got TV behind us, and it kind of scrolls saying you can have a warranty for whatever. It's like Home of the Shifting Metal YouTube channel, and there's pictures of me on there and whatever. And he's like, "Oh, I heard you buy cars and whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And he sort of sat down, started giving us the information. And he's like, "I was tempted to offer it to Matt at High Peak Autos, but I thought he might not be interested. It might be too far away for him or whatever." He's like, "You ever seen him on YouTube?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah. I speak with Matt sometimes and whatever." He's like, "Oh, do you?" It's like, "Yeah, we do a bit of YouTube." Yeah, well, and he just didn't want to hear it whatsoever. He'd come to my garage to sell me a car, and he was just telling me about you. He didn't want to hear anything I had to say. So, yeah, I thought that was funny.
Brilliant.
But yeah,
Yeah, I've,
well,
I've had the same thing. I've been told before in my videos. Matt at High Peak would have done that work on it. Matt would have done the extra bit. Matt would have fully resprayed it, replaced every tyre and disc and pad, and recoloured leather on that 3 grand car. You scumbag.
probably one of my quite a regular comment I get is like, High Peak Autos, but I did enjoy the video. All right, Matt. I don't know if there's anyone else wanted to ask, or is there anything else you wanted to cover before we let you get on with your day?
no, I don't think so. Don't think so.
No,
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure having you on and
yeah.
picking your
Thank you for
brains.
having me
And,
on.
like I say, I'll drop you a message and we'll get you in the WhatsApp group if you want to, and
Yeah.
open your eyes to crazy car supermarket going ons and all sorts, but also trading cars and all that sort of stuff as well. Um, I normally say, where can everyone find you? But where would you most like everyone to find you? Would it be going to your website, finding the YouTube channel, or
Yeah, just YouTube then, really. Try and drive those subscribers up. So yeah, High Peak Autos, simple as that.
we'll stick that in the description. Oh, we missed even talking to you about property or whatever.
I know, that was one of my
Oh, yeah.
questions. What do you prefer, cars, property, or acting?
You know what? I quite like the variety, to be honest. I still get a kick out of the property stuff because a bit like cars, I like to see a transformation. I think it's as simple as that. Turning something that someone else has overlooked into something that's quite nice.
Yeah. I'll try and twist your arm to come back on and we can talk about
Yeah,
properties. Because
okay.
Dave, you and I used to do it. That's how I started out. And do you know what? The most sort of profit in money I've ever made has been from property. But here I am trying to flog used cars. So I don't know. Maybe I need you to give me the lessons and inspirations. Right?
It's all patience,
Get
going
back to that.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
The Sarah Beanies and whatever of the world have ruined it a little bit. Everyone wants to be a property developer now, don't
Yeah.
they? So they're not.
He says as he sits there doing a car dealer shadow on all the dealers at auction and going, oh, they keep telling them their rights and now they can buy cars cheaply.
Can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, no. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Matt. It was a
No,
pleasure
thank you.
speaking to you. And, we will catch up with you soon.
Yeah. All right.
Cheers, Matt.
Yeah. Cheers,
Thank you,
guys.
Mark.
See you later. Have a good day.
Cheers, mate.